10 videos from Huston Kold, and in each video we will break one of his reel style. In this video we are gonna learn how we can create this reel in Adobe After Effects. Now this animation is really simple and we are going to recreate it in Adobe After Effects. So without further ado, let's start. Alright, so here we are inside of Adobe After Effects and we have this reel. Let's just watch it first.
This is the information I would have killed for 10 years ago. This is the information I would have killed for 10 years ago.
So as you see, this reel is simple. We have some text animation along with a cube animation that we want to cover. However, this time we are not just going to be a copycat. We are going to implement our own ideas in this reel to see how we can design and animate like Huston Kold. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna start with the texture folder that I have in here, and I'm gonna bring one of the textures in here. So this is going to be our background, and I'm gonna just scale it like this, and I'm gonna use the tint effect to change its color, and I'm gonna set the map white to a reddish color like this. Now we can add a CC vignette effect to even make the edges a bit darker. Okay, this is good. Now what I'm going to do on the next step is that I'm just going to get back to the texture again, and I'm going to bring the another texture to here, and let's just rotate it for 90 degrees. And let's just scale it down, and this time we're going to change the mode from normal to add. So this will be our design, and then what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to add the tint effect again, and this time we're just going to change its color a bit. Okay, this seems good, and let's just reduce the opacity a bit. So this is going to be our background texture. Now what I'm going to do on the next step is that let's just turn on the reference one more time. Let's just write the text. I would killed for. Okay, this is good. Let's just scale the text a bit. And I'm just gonna set the scale on 90% for both. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna add a gradient ramp effect. And I'm just gonna set the beginning color in here, and then I'm gonna set the end color in here as well. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna change the color for both ramps. This is good, and I'm gonna paste it for the second one. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna add the deep glow effect, and this will allow us to make the text a bit shiny. I'm gonna turn down the exposure around the with the radius. So this is going to be our text. Now let's just set it on 3D. And now what I'm going to do is that let's just hide the text. We don't need it anymore. And let's just focus on the text. And let's just increase its radius a bit. Okay, now what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to use a preset animation, slide and pop in.
Killed for 10 years.
Okay, let's just turn down the audio, and also let's just apply it for this one. Now let's just so this is the text. Now it is time to animate the overall cube. So to do that, what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to create a new composition. I'm just going to set its size on 300 by 300, and let's just call it side. And now what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to create a new solid layer. Let's just call it back. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to go towards the type tool, and I'm going to add a question mark. Let's just set the render on full, and let's just also increase its size like this. Okay, so this is going to be one of the cube side. and let's just bring it in here. So okay, but if we reveal the reel one more time, you will see that the question mark sort of has a white color, however it's surrounded by a red glow. So in order to fix that, we can add the deep glow effect. And then what are we going to do on the next step is that we're gonna turn down the exposure and radius to 250, and then we need to open the tint and we need to check box the enable, and we can change its color. Now we can just increase the exposure to something like this. Okay, so let's just turn it off. So this is good. Now what we need to do on the next step is that we need to sort of finish our cube. Well, to do that, what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna set this side on the 3D, and then I'm just gonna, let's just open the two views, and then I'm just gonna select the active camera and I'm gonna change it to custom view 1. So this is going to be our view. So we can just select the rotation tool and we can set it like here, and I'm just gonna solo it so we can see it better. And now what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna press A to open the anchor point, and I'm going to set the anchor point on 150. So basically this will help us now. And then what I'm going to do is that now I'm just going to duplicate the layer, and I'm going to open the rotation. And now we can use the Y rotation to rotate it to here. So this is going to be first side, and then I'm just going to duplicate it, and I'm going to add another 90-degree rotation into it. Then I'm just going to duplicate it one more time, and I'm going to add another 90-degree rotation into it. Now as you see, we have 4 sides for our cube. However, we need to fix the bottom and top. And now what we can do is that we can just simply, let's just close these sides. I'm just gonna duplicate this side. Let's just push it above, and this time I'm just gonna animate the X rotation. So this is going to be minus 90-degree, and I'm just going to duplicate it for the last time, and this time I'm just going to rotate it for, like, let's say 90-degree. So this will be our cube. If we rotate it, you will see that we have our cube. But one important thing that we see in the Huston Kold editing is that only one side has a question mark. So if I reveal the reel one more time, you'll see that we only have a question mark in here, and the other sides have no sort of text on it. So what we can do to fix that is that we can just duplicate this slide, and we can open it, and we can just remove the question mark for it. And then what we can do is that we can just select everything. So let's just hide the reel, and let's just set it on only one view, and then we can just hold Alt and we can replace them like this. So now if we start to change the camera, you will see that our sides are fixed as well. Now another thing that we see in the Huston Kold reel that is really important is the reflection of the light towards the cube. So either you can just simply change the render machine to advanced 3D, and this will fix the lighting. However, you will lose a lot of functions such as track mattes or layer styles, which, as you see, immediately as soon as I've changed the type to advanced 3D, I have lost the effects that I have added to the text. So I'm not going to do that. However, you will still have 2 options in order to fix that. Either you can add a new light, so you can just add a spotlight, and you can just fix the spotlight by changing the light direction. So this can help you. Or either you can add a tint effect at the end and change the shading of each side, and this will exactly give you the result that you want. However, now since everything is finished, I'm just gonna recompose it, and I'm gonna call it cube. So this is good, and now we can just control the cube by setting it on 3D, and let's just simply control the cube. But as you see, nothing will happen because we need to set the layers on rasterize. So now everything is good. Okay, this is nice. So about here, now we can just work on the animation. The scene is mainly finished, so we can just add a bit rotation to this cube. So I would say that I'm just gonna animate a rotation, let's say for like 10 frames. So this is good for me. I'm just gonna use the motion tools to set the easings on 65%. And now display. Well, it's a little bit slow, but it's fine for me. And now lastly, what we can do to make it even better is that we can add a new camera, and the type is set on one node, the preset is set on 35mm is fine. And then let's just add a node, and this will be the camera controller. And let's just parent it to the camera controller. And let's just set the camera controller on 3D. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to press P to reveal position. And then I'm just going to create a zoom in effect. However, I just like to create sort of a bit rotation as well. So let's just offset the rotation and position. Now when it's in here, I'm just going to create another null object, and I'm just going to call it the master controller. So this will basically controls everything, and I'm going to parent the camera controller to the master controller. And now in here, I'm just going to basically zoom the camera to the next scene. And then we can add our next text, which was, I believe, 10 years ago, when we can add it and animate it. So as you see, this was super easy to make in Adobe After Effects. And here we are at the end of this video, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave out the like and subscribe to the channel, as it would help me out a lot. Thank you so much. Goodbye.